You just said it is a little excursion, and you said it is a war. So which one is it?
Well, it's both. It's both. It's an excursion that will keep us out of a war, and the war is going to be. I mean, for them it's a war. For us, it's turned out to be easier than we thought.
Prices. Italy is considering a windfall tax on energy companies. France is monitoring prices at fuel stations, and Greece is expanding subsidies to help households cope with rising costs.
Since the beginning of the conflict in the Middle East, energy.
الزملاء الكرام، كما ذكرت لكم في الاجتماع الماضي، كانت توجيهات سيدي صاحب السمو واضحة لنا كمسؤولين بالعمل الدؤوب بحيث لا يتم المساس بمسيرة الحياة الطبيعية للمواطن والمقيم، والعمل بشكل متكامل بروح الفريق الواحد. وهنا أود أن أؤكد عليكم أهمية ودقة هذه المرحلة التي تمر بها دولة قطر، حيث أن دولة قطر مرت بتحديات وتجارب صعبة كثيرة في سنواتها الأخيرة، وفي كل مرة نخرج منها بتوفيق من الله أقوى. وكما علمتنا تلك التجارب أننا يجب أن نستمر في العمل الدؤوب لتعزيز قدرة الدولة على الصمود في وجه هذه التحديات. لذا عليكم إخواني وأخواتي، ونحن في ظل هذه الظروف السياسية والاقتصادية، العمل على ترتيب أولوياتنا في الإنفاق بما يعزز الصمود، وعند انكشاف هذه الغمة يوما ما بإذن الله بأن لا نتكاسل في الاستمرار بالعمل بهذه الوتيرة وترتيب أولوياتنا بما يضمن كفاءة الخدمات والنمو وتعزيز منظومة الصمود والترشيد حتى نضمن الصمود الدائم والديمومة بأمر من الله. وأرجو من الجميع العمل بروح الفريق الواحد، وأعيد التذكير هنا بكلمة صاحب السمو في دور 50 لانعقاد مجلس الشورى بأن وحدتنا مصدر قوتنا، ونسأل الله التوفيق للجميع.
What we understand is that this was a strike that targeted a vehicle down by Ramlet El Beida, which is the beach area of Beirut. So it is just to the south of downtown, this long strip of palm trees and beach that runs along the edge of the capital, along the south of Dahia, down towards the airport. And that has been home to many, many displaced people who don't have anywhere else to go. People have been sleeping not just on the streets of Beirut, but also on the beaches. You're seeing this crisis where people who have nowhere else to go are sleeping on the streets. Some of them have tents, but many of them are actually sleeping out in the open on mattresses in their cars. We've seen them, on the beach here behind me, around the Corniche, up on the headlands. Any public space in the city right now is somewhere that people are seeking shelter.
and urea after it stopped production of liquefied natural gas, and that happened after Iranian drone strikes on some of its facilities. The Iranian blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is also a big problem, and it's impacting fertilizer supplies. Nearly a third of globally traded urea needs to pass through this critical waterway to reach suppliers. And it comes at a time when farmers across the world are sowing spring crops. So even a few weeks' delay has a critical impact. Now, India, the second largest fertilizer consumer, is impacted. It buys nearly 40% of its urea and phosphate-based fertilizers from the Middle East. The US, on the other hand, is a major fertilizer producer, and yet it needs to import volumes of ammonia and urea. And President Donald Trump's on and off tariff policy has not helped farmers here stock up. Africa, on the other hand, is already facing a severe food crisis with millions going hungry. Now, the war in the Middle East is likely to worsen this situation. Urea shot up nearly 20% right after the first strike on Iran. Now, the US and Israel's war on Iran and Tehran's retaliation has far greater consequences than what we are seeing play out at a fuel station near you. Longer the war continues, higher the food prices are likely to be.
Australian farmers are being hit hard with soaring fertilizer prices threatening food security. The country imports almost 70% of the chemical urea that is used in the product. With winter approaching in the southern hemisphere, farmers are stockpiling what they can ahead of the sowing season. Danielle Robertson reports from central New South Wales.
In today's agricultural market, when fertiliser is available and how much it costs is beyond a farmer's control, so Lachlan Mac Smith is stockpiling everything he can.
I've been here 73 years. I've never seen fuel price and fertilisers go up so quickly at such a critical time. We've got lambs to feed in the feedlot and we want to put our crops in. It really is a critical time this has gone, and we have nowhere to go.
The Middle East is a major supplier of urea, the main chemical widely used as a fertiliser, and Australia imports most of its supplies. Shipping delays in the Strait of Hormuz have led to price increases. Farmers here tell us it's already spiked by 20%.
Of the bear cattle, if I could call it that, and they are really the ones that are taking things lower. So let's see the Nifty losers tally. ICICI Bank 2.5%. There's L&T. Interglobe Aviation is falling quite a bit because oil at 100 just completely changes the reality for airline operations, and therefore that stock's down another 3% today. Interglobe has lost 13% so far in March. Since the war began. So that's the kind of price damage that we've seen. Eternal is lower by about 2%. We'll pull up Swiggy as well in just a bit, because a lot of these platform companies, now there are real concerns. Restaurant associations are saying that we don't have enough gas and we might have to hike prices or curtail production. So it's really, some of it is panic, some of it is reality, but it's all very, very confusing and very hazy. Tata Motors 2% lower, Bajaj Auto is down. Kotak Mahindra Bank, Shriram Finance, it's across the board. Geo Financials, there's auto down, there's financials down, there's aviation down. L&T, which obviously has a significant West Asia exposure, that stock is also lower. SBI, Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, all of the bank stocks are down between 1 and 2%. Actually, on the Nifty, tell you what, not a single stock is managing even a 0.5% gain. It's that kind of a gap down opening, including ONGC. ONGC is not even up 0.5%. Look at the Nifty winners now. Let's flip this over and show you Nifty winners. There's hardly anything to count. ONGC is not even up 1 rupee, 1 whole rupee. And that is the extent of nervousness in the market. Coal India, again, 60 paise. There's some, there's HCL Tech and TCS. Some of the tech names, IT names are at the border, trying to now break into positive territory. Let's see. Reliance is about 0.5% lower, again trying to break into the positive territory, but not quite successful, at least at this juncture. And the mid-cap market is now really sliding. You know, when we had that pullback day, it was Tuesday, I believe, the mid-cap market started doing really well. Even yesterday, up until a point, the mid-caps are doing better than the large caps, but you know, that's not happening this morning. Mid-cap index almost 2% lower. Let me look at some of the losers. Okay, so IOC, HPCL, BPCL, MRPL, all the refiners are down 3, 4, 5%. Some of them are on your screen. Fact, the fertilizer stock had rallied almost 15-16% of the last 2 sessions. Today it's giving up a lot of those gains. Astral, you can see, is down about 6%. Hexaware is lower by about 4%. RCF, another fertilizer name, down about 3.5%. So, you know, it's just across the board. It's everywhere. WeWork India is down 4%. Aether is down 5.5%. It's all over the place, literally. That's what I can say. What is on the upside is Adani Total Gas. Adani is up 13% right now, Adani Total Gas. TTK Prestige, look at the stock, the cookware maker, the induction cookware maker, 12.5% up. Bajaj Electric is up 3%. So anyone who's making appliances which can be driven by electricity and you can, you know, make some food, those companies are up. Stovecraft, 8% higher. That's really the only uptrade, so to speak, in the market. HOEC, which benefits from oil prices, higher oil prices, is up about 5.5% as well. That is the market, at least at this point in time. There are companies like Borosil. Borosil declared that one of their plants has had to shut down. There's no gas. Stock's down 5.5%. A lot of the QSRs, our reviewers were asking if it's a good time to be investing into QSRs for the long term. But right now the dip is pretty severe. Jubilant Food is down 3.5%. Westside Food is down about 3% as well. Sapphire is down about 4%. So yeah, it's all over the place really. And a lot of it is red. The Nifty now staring at a 300-point drop. It's a tough morning. 23,570. We're moving further and further away from the 24,000 mark. This is real. You know, before I go back to our guests, I just want to look at the price of oil. It's really about that and really nothing else. And I can still see 100 on the screen on Brent. Let's fire up oil prices. That's the Nifty, down 300 points. And Brent oil prices at this juncture, almost 101. So yeah, the situation has not really changed. You know, Maulik, quite a few of our viewers are asking us on YouTube, is there any stock, any sector that doesn't get impacted because of oil and gas? Please tell us, what can we buy in this market? That question to you.
I think if you look at larger market, somewhere there is always an analogy. It's all about energy, right? And in our energy mix, the oil is the largest one. So there is always going to be some impact to that. You take it from the auto to FMCG to anywhere. Only sector which probably may not be impacted is an IT at a certain extent, or the telecom. But other than that, I think large part of the corporates will be impacted. And I can give you, and see what, as an investors, we know that there can be a first derivative, second derivative, or third derivative impact. But like what you mentioned about TTK Prestige, right? That's what, fifth, sixth derivative. And you do not have an oil, so there's an LPG shortage. LPG shortage is there, so people are not able to get food from the Zomatos or the Swiggies, and that you need an inductions, this electric induction. That's a fourth degree impact of this oil. So you will see so many cases in next 1 month where we as investors do not know that what can be actually, because the world is so interlinked, there are so much complex supply chain system which is now getting at a verge of breaking. And it is as bad as the situation one could think about in the last 4 or 5 years, other than the COVID period. And will take some time to manifest, to see the things where are going to hurt. Now, I give you a classic example is that auto companies. Auto companies use paint, like paint shop. Most of the paint shop runs on the required to heat the paint shop, either on an LPG or the gas. Now, if government is not giving them an industrial gas, how can this paint shop can run?
Sure.
Then you will see an impact on auto production.
Sure.
Now, so you have a whole cascading chain which is working out.
Sure. All right. So nothing on your buying radar, Maulik?
Probably IT looks only the one which can be buy. I think despite and because of the already they got corrected a lot in the previous couple of weeks because of this AI. You have some kind of a safety. Pharma is one where definitely one can look at it. Partly because of you do not have that risk of as of now, given that the gross margins are very high, and you still do not have so much of a disruption. To where people will find in a safety is in pharma and IT today.
Sure. Okay, all right. I guess those are the two sectors that at least, right now we can say they're not being touched by the higher price of oil and the lack of gas availability. Otherwise, it's tough times. Maulik, thank you very much for joining in and giving us context on oil and gas specifically today. You have a good session and we'll catch up again soon. Thank you very much. Okay. By the way, let's welcome in our next guest on the show. And as we do that, we'll also put out a lot of the brokerage views that are coming in, specifically on city gas distribution stocks and oil and gas stocks, because that's really where the focus lies.
الحمد لله والشكر تم السيطرة على حريق الناقلة. أبطال الموانئ النفطية من ربابنة موجودين هنا بقيادة كابتن زامل. الحمد لله والشكر تم السيطرة على الحريق وتسرب النفط.
We begin tonight with the president's emergency move to slow the surging gas prices in America. President Trump late today announcing he plans to tap into the strategic petroleum reserves as Iran moves a vital passageway for oil. This is a Thai tanker burning, a fire smoldering inside its hull. Iran apparently hitting energy infrastructure on land as well. You see it here. New video showing the moment a drone slams into an oil depot in Oman, causing that massive explosion. Oil is now clearly a major front and Iran's preferred target in this war, with a new commitment today from dozens of countries to release a record-setting amount of oil into the marketplace, hoping to ease the prices. We'll break down how much impact that will have for drivers here in the U.S. All that as war rages on several Middle East fronts. This new video showing Israeli bombs dropping relentlessly on southern Lebanon tonight, targeting Hezbollah. We've got this covered from all angles tonight, and we start with Garrett Haake at the White House.
You can see the drone above the oil depot in Oman before it makes impact, as the Iranian regime unleashes new attacks on ships in the Strait of Hormuz, including this Thai cargo vessel. Iran vowing to drive oil prices to $200 a barrel by stopping tankers from using the strait. And now, in an urgent effort to keep oil prices down, the International Energy Agency and its member countries, including the U.S., agreeing to release 400 million barrels of oil from emergency stocks. Tonight, oil prices holding steady around $87 a barrel, with the president explaining why he's tapping into 172 million barrels from the U.S. Strategic Oil Reserve.
We'll reduce it a little bit, and that brings the prices down. We have to get rid of the evil. There's great evil taking place in Iran, as you know, and our military has been unbelievable.
The president recently warning the Iranian regime against blocking the strait, just 20 nautical miles wide at its narrowest point, a critical corridor for more than 20% of the world's oil.
If Iran does anything to do that, they'll get hit at a much, much harder level.
Iran turning to unleashing these new attacks on oil after the Pentagon says it has decimated the Iranian military.
To date, we have struck more than 5,500 targets inside Iran.
President Trump saying he will end the war, quote, soon, because there's practically nothing left to target. NBC's Peter Alexander with the president today.
What more do you need to do militarily for this operation to end?
More of the same, and we'll see how that all comes out. Right now, they've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft apparatus at all, they have no radar, their leaders are gone.
Most Republicans support the operation.
The president's been very clear about those goals, about destroying the missiles and the drones, destroying the nuclear program.
But the president facing pressure from some allies.
He ran on no more wars.
We did a little excursion. We had to take this little few weeks of excursion, but it's been incredible. Our military is unbelievable, the job they're doing.
You just said it is a little excursion, and you said it is a war. So which one is it?
Well, it's both. It's both. It's an excursion that will keep us out of a war, and the war is going to be, for them it's a war. For us, it's...
What more do you need to do militarily for this operation to end?
More of the same, and we'll see how that all comes out. Right now, they've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft apparatus at all, they have no radar, Their leaders are gone, and we could do a lot worse to one another. We're leaving certain things that if we take them out, or we could take them out by this afternoon, in fact, within an hour, they literally would never be able to build that country back.
What more do you need to do militarily for this operation?
At least 6 ships have covertly passing through in recent days. We have learned that ships near the strait have begun actually broadcasting messages seemingly aimed to discourage Iran from striking them. Some of the messages that CNN has seen include China owner, all Chinese, and China owner. Will Ripley is out front with a closer look at the role that China is playing in the war.
In China, this AI-generated video shows President Donald Trump trying to make Iran's supreme leader disappear, but instead, his son pops up, a not-so-subtle jab at the United States. Another viral video goes even further, this one shared by Iran's embassy in Beijing, untouched by China's army of online censors, implying President Trump started the war to distract from the Epstein files, showing a U.S. missile bombing a school. Then showing the destruction of American military bases, aircraft carriers, and the Israeli Prime Minister's compound. Across Chinese social media, the message is blunt. America